When you become stagnant, anxious, depressed, or like you just don't have the energy or capacity to kind of go on with your day, it is time to figure out what is going on emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, all of it. These are the moments when you are being asked to up level, change, and radically step into a new version of yourself. In these moments, you feel a range of emotions. The one that always comes up for me is apathy. I start to hit this point where I just don't believe that, the world's a good place anymore, or that there's any hope, or that I'm ever going to be able to move past this rut or moment I have landed in. For you, it might be different. It might be anger. It might be rage and frustration. It might be sadness, depression, or anxiety. It might be just this sense that the world has crept up on you, and maybe you feel jaded and you feel like nothing's ever going to go your way. You're not going to get out of this energy. And one thing I notice when we hit these moments, and I swear we all hit these moments, you're not alone, is that we truly land here because we are being asked and invited by the universe to expand, learn, and arrive at a new place. This place you've landed in has become stagnant. It has become old. There is a mourning process that needs to occur in order for you to catalyze this moment, to shift, to expand. And we're going to talk about a few of those ways that you can begin to expand and move past these moments. But first, let's talk about the stagnation. So if you are here and you're listening to this, it's likely that you have felt these moments of deep despair, and all the shit just comes up, and you look around at your life and you wonder, is it ever going to change? Is it ever going to be any different than it is right now? Am I going to make it, right? Am I going to make it to those big dreams and big goals I have? Am I going to expand past this moment and ever get to the places I dream within my heart, within my soul? If you felt like that, again, you're not alone. It comes up all the time for me, for my clients, for my students. It is this real raw moment of needing to shift. And sometimes we feel them more often than not. We can have so many of these moments in like 1 year or a couple months, and then not have any for a few years. And it all depends on what you're going through. Chalk it up to astrological transits and what's happening in your chart. That's where I will find it as an astrologer. But taking the astrology out of it for a second, you just feel it. You just feel it. Maybe it's just shitty moments in life, right? It's just big, hairy, ugly moments that we have to go through. And in order to go through them, we're going to have to look at some shit. Okay. This is why I'm such a big advocate of journaling and of shadow work, because I truly believe these are the things that get us through these hairy moments, these ugly moments where we land in despair. And so we're going to talk about some of this stagnation today, because when you land in these hard moments, when you feel everything kind of collapse around you, it is a portal. Okay, I'm going to call it a portal. And this is what I'm here to do, is to teach you guys how to land into these uncomfortable moments, these dark, heavy places, and not arrive in despair. So I'll give you guys a little backstory of what's been coming up for me lately. I'm in some very deep astrological transits. We always are. We all have them going on in some part in our chart. And lately, what's been building for me is that I have stopped living in a way that brings me pleasure, joy, excitement, and passion. Okay. I've really arrived in a lot of mundanity, and I'm building habits and I'm building routines and a lifestyle that can bring me back into joy and pleasure and fun. Now, in all of that, what I found is I have isolated myself. I mean, we've all felt isolated for the last 3 years, especially, but expanding past the last 3 years, I've isolated myself. I had a really great community back in BC, and I'm really excited to get back there, but I feel very alone here in Hamilton, in Ontario. It's not that I'm actually alone. It's just a sensation that I have isolated myself. And within that, there's so much learning for me to go through. So lately, this feeling has been building of like, well, there's no joy in my life anymore. It's just mundane. It's just, getting through the day, doing my work, list upon list of things to do the groceries, run the errands. And by the end of the evening, we fall into bed and we're just tired. There's no time for the exploration of joy. And that had been building and building and building until this past weekend, when there was some very frustrating energy in the sky. Mars had moved into Cancer, forming a trine with Saturn. And then there was this energy of Pluto forming an inconjunct to Mars. Now, if that's gibberish to you, that's totally fine. Essentially, what it boils down to is frustrations, deep, deep frustrations. And I felt it with a lot of Aries energy in the sky. We had, I've talked about the Jupiter Chiron conjunction that's happening in Aries right now. It's moving away, which is feeling better, but it's stirred up so much for me personally. And for many of you that I've talked to, it's stirred up so much childhood wounding, which brings us back to play, brings us back to pleasure, passion, joy, all these things. And so in all of this, frustration came up for me, anger came up for me, bitterness came up for me, this deep, deep wealth of information came up, and I had to process that. And there was a moment where I just felt like it was too much to be, in all of this. It's like, is it ever going to get better? Is it ever going to feel less heavy? Now, a whole other story for another time. A lot of processing, emotional healing, a shamanic journey released all of that. And I'm feeling so different right now. But within all of this, I had to go into my toolbox of all the things I use. So journaling, shadow work, astrology, embodiment, chakras, all the things I use, you're going to have your own toolbox. And I had to examine, if my life feels like this right now, then something is wrong. Something is out of alignment. Wrong isn't even the right word, but something is out of alignment. And I'm going to have to see what that misalignment is. So this is where you're being invited into this energy. Okay. So this is kind of step one, is if you are feeling the stagnation, if you are feeling, jaded and like things aren't going to get better. You don't really think things are going to get better. You think you're kind of stuck in what you're in, and that's the end of it. If you've lost that spark, step one is you're going to have to dive into what do your days look like? Okay. What are you filling your days with? I know this is easier said than done. Say if you're, you've got a newborn or kids, you might be like, okay, I've got this list of things I have to do every single day to keep these humans alive. And that's valid, but you're still going to have to look at your daily activities, and you're going to have to flush out all the shit that makes you feel like shit. Okay. So there's going to be things you have to do that are not fun. 100%. We all have them. Grocery shopping, errands, like just doing the mundane things that we're like, why can't this stuff just appear in my home? Cleaning, all that stuff. If you're a weirdo like me, I actually enjoy cleaning, but like it still takes time out of our day, right? So you're going to have to examine that mundanity and be like, okay, so how are my habits kind of stagnating the ability to create more space for play and joy? This is just one little example, is like, if you can consciously create some sort of routine can bring us freedom, PS, you can create some sort of routine that is bringing you more freedom, then now you've created space for joy and play. Now, if you examine your day-to-day and you're like, okay, I see that I'm filling this slot with Netflix and this slot with scrolling and this slot with whatever it is, something that doesn't feel good, make a list. What doesn't feel good? Okay, what is not supporting you? And then you're going to take that list and examine and write a new list of all the things that actually bring you joy. So you're going to have to examine, this is like step 2, okay? You're going to have to examine what you used to love to do, and do you still love doing it? Okay, you've probably changed, but there's probably so much in there that you're like, I still love doing that. That still brings me a lot of joy. And then you're going to have to examine who you've become. Okay, who you have become in order to understand what now brings you joy. What little things do you really enjoy doing that you're not making time for? Okay, so are you scrolling instead of, say, for me, learning the ukulele? I bought this ukulele now 2 years ago, and I've learned like one song. And, that is me not showing up for myself. Netflix isn't serving me, but that damn ukulele, when I play it, it's like right beside me. It makes me feel joyful, playful, young, excited. Okay. So why am I choosing the other habit? Because it's more comfortable. It's easier. I don't have to expand with it. Okay. Looking into this, you're going to make these lists. Okay. The one list, step 1 is looking at your daily activities. What is in there that's bringing you negative emotions? It's dropping you down into a low frequency. It doesn't feel good. Step 2 is making that list of what are the things that do make you feel good and do, light up your life. What are those things? Bring them in, write them down. And step 3 is tapping into all the things you've wanted to do, or this new version of you that you are becoming wants to do, and writing them down. Okay, so for instance, I'll give you another example. Right now, I am looking to purchase some roller skates. I want to start roller skating. I wanted to do this for years. It started with longboarding. I never got a longboard because, okay, I'm going to fill my day with mundanity. I'm not going to have any fun. And I just didn't buy one. But that was a dream I've had since like 2017. Now I'm shifting it. I want roller skates. Okay, great. Those roller skates are going to bring me play. They're going to bring me fun. I might hate it. I might absolutely hate it, but I'm going to try. Okay. And if I don't love it, I'm going to find something else that brings me joy. I've made a list of all those things recently that really light me up. It's dancing. Okay. Me dancing, whether it's going out to a trance show and like listening to trance music and dancing my face off, even though I love sleep, I might have to sacrifice sleep for joy. Dancing to trance in my kitchen, that makes me super happy. Deep house makes me super happy. Anything that gets me into that dancing energy really lights up my Leo energy. So good. I am examining all the other little things like hiking and exploring, road trips. These are the things that bring me great joy. And then there's things on those lists that, like the roller skating that I haven't done since I was a kid, and I want to bring in. Belly dancing is on there. Pole dancing is on there. These are all things that are fun. Okay. So we have to look at, what do you actually want? What are you doing? What does actually bring you joy? And where is it misaligned? And within this misalignment, you're going to understand the world is always going to be crazy. Because I think that's, if we look at history, no matter who you are, what time period you live in, what's going on, the world is always crazy. No one's sitting there being like, oh, like this was the perfect period of history, and there was no social unrest, and there was no upset, and there was nothing going on. We were just happy and peaceful. I just don't think that exists here on Earth. So knowing that there's always going to be craziness, there's always going to be a wild, wild west going on out there, you have to create the peace and joy and excitement within your own life, within the mundanity of your life. Okay. So life is always going to be mundane. You're always going to have to clean. You're always going to have to get food. You're always going to have to eat and poop and pee and shower. And yeah, I said poop and pee. You're going to have to do all these things. Okay. You're going to have to do the mundane things, but you don't have to scroll. You don't have to watch Netflix. If those things don't bring you joy, I'm using them as an example because they don't bring me joy. You don't have to do the things you're doing that make you feel like shit. There are some on the list you're going to have to do. Like, if you're tired as hell and your kid wakes up at the 3 a.m., yeah, you're going to have to wake up and support that. You're going to have to work through that 100%. But there are things in your day that you're doing, and I know you're tired, but I'm going to call you out on your shit. There are things in your day that you're doing that are unaligned with the person you want to be. And so when you look at those lists that you've created, step 1, 2, 3, step 4 is, what are you cutting out? Okay, what are you removing from your life? And what are you plugging into your life? And it can be one simple thing. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Finishing the book Atomic Habits right now, and the last couple chapters, my husband and I read together every single night, and then we do a little journal session. What he was saying in one of the chapters was like, start with one thing, like one push-up, one go to the gym for 1 minute. He says, and it actually, like, go to the gym for 5 minutes, go to, like, whatever it is, do like one page, read one page every night, right? Commit to that, because it's a lot easier to commit to reading one page, and you're automatically going to start reading 2 pages, 9 pages. All of a sudden you're like engulfed in the book. But what it is essentially is like you creating a way where you can show up for yourself. Don't make this hard. Don't make it big. That's like the common mistake. And he talks about that in the book as well, in Atomic Habits. Like, we make our goals so big that we actually don't follow through with them. And then we get into this big Virgo procrastination energy, because if the dream is so big, then now I'm going to procrastinate because I won't be able to follow through with it. But if you shrink it down into bite-sized little, bite-sized bites, snacks, you're going to be able to do it. Okay. So for instance, in my case, it's like, I'm going to have to book going to pole dancing, just one session, one intro class is all I need to do. And when that's booked, I'm going to go because I paid for it. And if I love it, great. I'm going to keep going. If I don't, I'm going to find something else, right? I'm going to book that. I'm going to go buy those roller skates. I'm going to go buy the roller skates. And then the second thing is, I'm going to put those roller skates on. I'm going to tie them up. Okay, they're on. I better damn well start roller skating, right? And if I love it, great. If not, I'm going to bring more joy into my life. I'm going to keep refining this process until I have created more joy. And so, for me, this is very Gemini Mars of me. That's my energy. You're going to have your own. You might stick with something and be like, yep, this is the thing I'm bringing into my life. And if you're within like the scope of playfulness, maybe it's a few different things, trying on new hats, but something that infuses more, change, excitement, passion, joy, whatever it is you're looking for, you're going to have to inject it into every day. And when you do that, you're going to notice that you change. Your frequency changes because you're not stuck in the mundane energy anymore. You're starting to do things that possibly light you up, even if you fail at them. I'm going to suck at roller skating, guys. I'm going to fall on my ass. I have to get some knee pads. I have to get some elbow pads, wrist pads. I'm going to look like I'm 12 again. You are going to suck at it, but it will shift your frequency, because now you're doing something that expands you. Now you're getting out of your comfort zone. You're getting out of your routine, and you're getting out of whatever it is you're in right now that's making you feel like shit. You are going to have to change something if you are stagnant. And other ways to look at this, so we have step 1, 2, 3, and 4. And step 5 is, if that isn't helping, okay, you don't have the motivation, you don't have the drive, you don't have the energy, you're going to have to look at what's going on in your body, your mind, your soul, right? Like, what is holding you back? You're going to have to journal and reflect. What are you going through that is, putting this pressure on you? And why aren't you processing it if you're not? And if you are, and you're just sitting in it and you're like, fuck, I just feel this deep, deep wealth of sorrow. You're going to have to feel that. On Sunday, when I was going through my peak of this frustration moment, I just had to cry. My husband and I were hiking, and I was just sobbing during the hike. And that's what I needed to do to process, to release, to work with it. I needed to see it. I needed to reflect it. I needed to scream through it. I needed to be angry. And you're going to have to do that. Okay. You're going to have to look at the messy bits. You're going to have to honor them. You're going to have to just feel it all, and then start to see and examine all these areas of shifts within you. So you're going to have to create a new routine. right? A new routine that brings in those rushes of excitement or joy or pleasure, whatever it is. And, when you're listening to this, you might be like, I don't want to schedule in fun, but I'm sorry, sometimes we have to, right? I don't want to schedule in pleasure. Sometimes we have to. And within this, the hard part is you're going to have to sacrifice things. Now, you're going to have to sacrifice things you don't like doing often. You're going to have to sacrifice things that are comfortable but don't serve you, right? Like watching Netflix. You might watch Netflix and you think you actually enjoy it, but at the end of the day, like you check in, you're like, I feel like shit after I watch Netflix. But it's easier to watch Netflix, right? It's easier to just unplug and just zone out and escape. But you're going to have to sacrifice that comfort to expand and change and grow and become happier in the process. People don't climb mountains because it's comfortable. People don't go into the wilderness and live through beautiful, expansive journeys to climb to a top of the mountain to see these epic views. We all watch on Instagram. We're like, God, wouldn't that be cool? They don't do that because it's comfortable. People don't travel because it's comfortable. People don't go to other countries and see these like beautiful new landscapes because it's comfortable. Traveling sucks, right? Taking a plane is not fun. The airports are not fun. The travel to and from a place is not fun. It's not comfortable. But they do it because it expands them, because it excites them, because it brings them new energy, new life force. And you're going to have to direct new life force into yourself. So stagnation, depression, apathy, frustration, anger, all of it is a guidepost for something being out of alignment in your life. Like, that should be obvious, but it's not. That should be like an obvious statement where you're like, yep, obviously, if I am depressed, something's wrong, something's off. But in the world we live in, it's just medicate it. You're fine. Right? Take a pill. You'll be fine. Instead of check in with your lifestyle, with your habits, with your mindset. What are you watching? What are you consuming? What are you processing? What are you feeling? What are you experiencing? And then seeing, okay, how am I physically, mentally, spiritually, and energetically? Because I bet you if you check in, if you're feeling this energy of the stagnation, the frustration, the anger, the rage, if you're feeling that, guaranteed when you check in physically, mentally, spiritually, I'm missing one. If you check in, body, mind, and soul, something is misaligned. Is it your thoughts? Is it your actions? Is it your habits? Is it your food? Is it your, the way you take care of your body? Are you moving your body? Something is out of alignment, and often they're all tied in together. So you're going to have to look at it. That's the hardest part, okay? You are going to have to look at it and see it, and it's going to be gritty and uncomfortable, and you're not going to like what you see, but that's where change happens. So tap in. What are the things you're changing? What do you need to change, and how are you going to change it? Okay, so the things you can do is review the area that's out of alignment. Review, tap in. What is out of alignment? And how is it showing up in your life? How does it feel? How does it feel? List it, write it down, journal it. And then you're going to reflect on, like we said, what does bring you joy? Okay, that's like step one, reviews what's out of alignment, all those habits. Step two, tap into what brings you joy. Step three, you're going to have to tap into what are the things you want to do or have wanted to do, and why are you not bringing them in, right? Bring them in one by one, little piece by piece, bring them in. Step four, you're going to have to remove the mundanity, right? You're going to have to see it, and then you're going to have to bring in those little changes and shift. And then another thing you can do, you can do this yourself. You can start working with me inside my membership. This is exactly what we do every single month, is you're going to have to figure out your own soul signature. What's going on in your transits, right? What's happening in your chart? What is your soul signature? What brings you joy, right? I can help you with that in a reading, but within the membership every month, we tap into why you are the way you are, how you operate in this world. You are a unique being. And within your chart is a signature and a soul blueprint of what is going to bring you more joy, right? My joy is going to be different than your joy. So you're going to have to uncover, where have you been, misaligned with your joy, your passions, your creative force? Where does that lie for you? What energy force brings you that rush of excitement and love and passion? And even within the mundanity of life, it still brings you the opportunity to create and explore and be alive. And what are those things that are aligned for you that you can bring in, while examining maybe why you have become stagnant, right? We can use astrology to figure all of this out. You can also just tap into what it feels like. This is like the astrological lens is like the layer, the cherry on top of understanding why you are the way you are. So every month in the membership, we figure out a different slice of your pie, right? We're working through the houses, through the planets, through the signs. We're going to work through all of that. And it's going to show you your soul process and how you can take this and examine this and align it to why you incarnated, right? There's going to be little nuggets of gold in every corner of your chart. So that's what we do in the membership, is we find these nuggets and we heal our ability to love ourselves more. And in that, there is such a wholeness and such a fullness. So this is something you can work through to truly begin to live more joyfully, more passionately, and know that you're going to hit these moments of stagnation, right? You're going to go through this process. You're going to start to feel better. And, within a year, 2 years, depending what's happening in your chart, in your life, you're going to hit another moment. You're going to be like, shit, I'm stagnant again. Crap, I feel like it's all crumbling again. Maybe you're just laying on the floor in a puddle of tears and it all hits you. And you're like, how did I get here again? That's life. That's life. So we do this process again. When did we stop living in joy? What did we, start living in? Why are we in the mundane energy? And how can we bring in more of that life force? So that's all I have for you guys today. I would love to know your thoughts and what's coming up for you as we're talking about this in the comments. If you're listening on YouTube, drop them in the comments below. I want to know what's coming up for you, because I'm sure a lot already has come up while this was playing, while you were receiving this. And if you're listening on the podcast, send me an email, send me a DM. I want to know what is coming up for you. I love hearing from you guys. And please make sure to like and subscribe. It is, all I can ask of you guys to help me expand and grow and do more of this content for you. And if you loved this topic, I want to know, I can talk more about this stuff. Saturn is moving through my 6th house. So I'll be very focused on routine, lifestyle, all these Virgo traits for the next 3 years. So if you guys want to know more about this kind of stuff, this mindset shift work, please let me know in the comments so that I can create more. I would love to be, in greater alignment with what you guys need to receive right now. I love knowing. So please like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And I cannot wait to connect with you in our next chats.